In this particular video I'm doing because this is a cable that I really have come to trust a lot. It is manufactured by a company called CBI. This is their Prism line. They have other lines. They have Gold Rush and I forget what the other one is, Rock, I think. They are all 20 gauge cable. They are coated, not coated, they use nickel as the metal for the connectors. You can see these ones, there's actually the heat shrink on the inside. There's a little plastic sleeve to help keep the action smooth when you put this nickel connector cover over top of the wire. The soldering job is really good on the inside. They don't come apart that easy. At most, I may have to give it a little twist before I plug them in. I've had this particular cable since 2005, maybe earlier, maybe 2004. But I know I had it in 2005 for a fact. I was gigging with it. I was taking this around. It was going on a bus a lot back then. So go to one place and then tear down and play in another place. So this really did the trick. This particular connector says G&H Industries, Centerville, Michigan, USA. I don't know the background of the company that makes the cable, but I do know that they have a nice quality cable. Now, I have other cables and I've used them, and the other one that I've been using, I don't know where it went. It's around, here it is. It's around here someplace. Normally, I like to coil my cables up. I will talk about how to do that professionally, how to do it nicely and keep your cables from getting all tangled in another video. This one is tangled because it is going into my disuse bin. This cable is also good, and I've had it probably as long or about as long as I've had the other one. The difference is this one is a plastic or rubber material around that comprises the sleeve. This one is all cloth. It's a woven cloth. I like this a lot. It's not as easy to maneuver around corners, like especially sharp corners if you were trying to tuck it under something or around something. It doesn't fall off the guitar as quickly. This one here, you can actually see if you hold them up together. There we go. This one has just a little bit more give to it, and that's because the sleeve, this heat shrink here, is longer than this one, which is only comes out to there. This one comes out to here. It is more flexible, which means that you can do some more complicated routing with it. But in the long term, it's starting to show its wear. Now it's made similarly. You can unscrew this one. You can look on the inside and see what kind of job they did. In this case, they have heat shrinked all the way up to the tip, which is great in terms of keeping your interference out of your signal chain. But if you needed to do a cable repair, which most of you probably won't, but for those of you that were interested, if you were going to do that, you'd actually have to cut the heat shrink, do your solder job, and then if you wanted to, put more heat shrink on it, and then close the end. So, I bought two new ones. This is a 10-foot Prism. It's just like this blue one, except it is what they call platinum. This is actually black with some special fancy shiny platinum color, I guess, in it. I've noticed that the heat shrink on this cable, this Prism cable, is a bit longer than it was on previous cables. Here is where it comes down to on the new cable, and here is where it comes down to on the old cable. So it's here, here. A little bit longer. That means that it will have a little bit more purchase area when you come out of the guitar. It will hang out this way and off the amp. When you stick it into the amp, it's going to really hang out here unless you make an effort to pull it down. That might be an issue for some of you. That hasn't been an issue for me. And honestly, when I use a cable, I just need two things from the cable. I need to make sure that the cable is going to do what I need it to do, and that is transfer my tone, my sound signal from the guitar to the amplifier or to the board wherever I'm going, depending on what the situation is. And the other thing that I need this cable to do is I need it to do that every single time I pull it out of the box. When it starts to fail, that's when it goes to the trash. This is a cheap, I don't know, super cheap. It's almost like a Radio Shack type. This is, it's got this molded plastic coating around both ends of the connectors. The wire is really thin. If you compare this wire to this one, the connector itself just isn't as big. It doesn't have as much girth. And if you look at this cable, you'll notice that the one on the bottom is definitely thinner than the one on the top. And that means that it doesn't have as much shielding from any kind of interference that may be going on in the environment where you're playing. You want to have a thicker cable to keep radio frequencies and other nasties out of your signal. So this is a much better choice, I think. This one is going to the trash. It can... Goodbye. So, in closing, this is the CBI Prism. Oh, and I forgot to mention that one of the cool things about this particular company is they have a guaranteed lifetime warranty. Suppose that could come in handy if you ever needed it. I don't know, 10 years for a cable is pretty good long life. I know a lot of people like to buy the monster cables and Megami, and that's good too. You know, but if you're looking for something, this cable cost me $14.99, not $25.99 or $50 or whatever they go for online these days for some of the premium high-end cables. And honestly, if you're looking for a cable that's going to work for you, that you can gig with, that is going to work every single time that you need it to work, that's not going to introduce outside noise into your signal, this is a good option. That's CBI Prism. Now, I have not been paid to do this video. I'm doing it because I have had this experience, and I think that it's something that you might want to know about too. So, if your experience has been different, we'd love to hear about that, so leave a comment below. And until I come up with my next topic, that's it. Stay tuned.